What is up, blockchain gang? We are going to take a look at 10 times the MIR4 devs actually listened to the community and the potential effects it had on the game. Were these good or bad design choices? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, because I am not a mind reader. I don't want to come off as stroking their ego or anything else, as I am critical of the game even though I enjoyed playing it. However, we must give credit where it is due to be intellectually consistent. Number 1. Raising the level cap. Due to botting in mines, they increased the level cap and mission requirements as the community asked them to do. However, this had the negative impact of forcing the bots out of the mines and into the playable areas of the game to level up and complete quests, which made it harder for new players to complete the same quest lines and would frequently cause them to get stuck in areas. Number 2. Mining interruption. These weak bots were programmed to interrupt players from mining indefinitely until they gave up on the task, so the devs implemented a system where you could only be interrupted while mining if you were killed or crowd controlled after the community complained. The inverse effect was also true though, where it became harder and harder to interrupt the bots when mining, especially when they started using invisibility, nameless, and teleportation hacks. Number 3. Upgrading the ban hammer. After nearly a year of begging the devs to do something greater about the bots, they turned up the anti-cheat to 11 and set phasers to 10-year suspensions and started blasting like it was banned to earn. All the little kids with the pumped up kicks couldn't run faster than their bullets, and this led to over 200,000 accounts of actual players getting banned by mistake. I'm sure most of them were overturned, but it gave players who have been holding thousands of dollars in assets in their wallets a bitter glimpse of reality and how flimsy the idea of digital ownership on a centralized blockchain could actually be. Since this incident, the anti-cheat has been kept locked in a cage in the basement, subsisting only on the occasional ghost trader. Number 4. Trinity Hydra. When the economy started failing about 3 months after release, mainly due to exploits and botting, the community demanded the devs do something. They did something alright, but it wasn't what anyone expected. Creating the new Hydra token by spooning intimately all night with the blockchain, while the Trinity algo punished players and bots alike who were trying to earn from the game regardless if they were playing honestly or not. This is what many countries have done to address inflation in the past, and it has a rich history of failure. So I would suggest the devs study the history of real-world economies if they want to avoid a blunder like this in the future, as it did nothing to address the overinflation in the first place. It was a band-aid at best that may have helped stop the bleeding, but forced many free players away from the game due to the fear of the pain from ripping it off one day. This also caused a hard reset to the past blockchain data, which hid all of the historical price information. So much for transparency, I guess. Number 5. Lowering the Mirage cost to seal characters. When you want to leave the Mirage NFT mining minigame, you must pay a cost in Vigor to seal your character so it can be sold or unsealed into the game of MIR4. On launch, this was the same amount of 25 Vigor, if I recall correctly, for all characters. I asked them to change it through customer support system, and 2 weeks later it was lowered to 5 Vigor for the weakest characters and scales up with each color portrait of green, blue, red, and then yellow. Number 6. Nerfing Arbalist. While this was controversial because many people believed they waited too long, the new class was way overpowered when it came to gaining experience, causing the majority of players to switch classes on arrival. When they finally did address the issue, they said it was all due to an in-game bug that was allowed to go on for months of players complaining about it until it was found, which not only nerfed the Arbalist, but also buffed all the other classes. What a coincidence. Number 7. Exploiting the search function. When hunting down an enemy player, it was possible to exploit the search function by simply trying to form a party with the person you were hunting. If they were in the area, their name would show up in the search, which made it really difficult for players to hide from them. When the developers found out, they removed it entirely from the game. Number 8. The Divine Dragonian's Blessing that nobody bought. In the first major event after launch, players were given a ticket for a chance to get awesome rewards based upon their previous combination failures. In the next major event, these tickets were not given to players, but sold for $100 instead. Players were pissed off at the blatant cash grab, and since then, all major events have included a free blessing ticket or two instead of putting them behind a paywall in the cash shop. Number 9. The Mandela System. I wouldn't say that this is something players asked for with words, but rather their wallets. After the release of MIR-M, the devs saw players spend twice as much money as they did at the launch of MIR4, and I am assuming here that most of it was on the Mandela system because it was announced that MIR4 would be getting a similar Mandela-like system out of nowhere, and this wasn't even planned for the Korean version to my knowledge. Number 10. The Kraken. The Kraken is a large server-wide spider boss that does % HP damage, has insane amounts of defense, and a huge health pool, often taking hundreds of people over 30 minutes to kill. After a few months of this though, the health was reduced by 30%, which made killing it weekly much less of a chore. Now, I'm not trying to argue that these updates were the best choices that they could have made or had the best outcome. I'm just pointing out that when it is possible, and the devs admit there is a problem the players have pointed out, they have tried to solve it in many cases. Debating their success, failure, or negligence in that regard is another video entirely. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so we can do this again sometime.
I'm scared. From my battle to our war, MIR4.
Yeah, Mr. Laser.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
You will be destroyed.
You're going
The
down.
explosion will be of extraordinary magnitude. Just hang on.
It takes a while.
Oh God, my back!